All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Kelly. I'm the Automation Alley Executive Director and CEO. We've had several questions come in recently from those in the educational community about ways you can get involved with Automation Alley. As Michigan's Industry 4.0 Knowledge Center, we partner with academic institutions across the region on a variety of different topics and projects all the time. And I wanted to help you better understand how you can get involved in what we do. So I am delighted to be joined today with Dave Shippers, Chair of Information Technology Decision Sciences at Walsh College. Dave is a great friend to Automation Alley. He's a great friend to me personally. He's one of our Technology and Industry Report academic contributors, and he's an innovative educational leader and cybersecurity consultant. And I got to say, thanks for joining me today, Dave.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
So let's start with an easy question, Dave. So tell us about how you first got involved with Automation Alley. And by the way, I'm so appreciative of you spending time with us.
Yeah, sure. So to start with, I think, if we turn back the dial, you and other folks had reached out for, I believe it was the Tech Report 2019, which actually starts in 2018, right? Because you guys start planning early, which kudos on that. So really at that point, there were some discussions. I believe you had talked with the then president at Walsh. And then internally, leadership said, hey, Automation Alley has reached out. That ultimately came to my department. I was actually at that time, the timing, I'll say, was not necessarily the greatest for us internally because we had a lot of changes going on. But as we talked through this and we looked at it, we went, wait a minute, this looks like some good value. We saw that, like I said, timing wise, it wasn't the best. It's not always about whether you're ready or not. It's about, do you want to use the opportunity, right? So we sat back and went, hey, this looks like a good opportunity for us. So we said, all right, sign us up. Let's do this. And then I believe it was myself and Chris Hayden, whom you know as well. We came on board, and then we worked with Rita Barrios on that first, I believe it was this first cybersecurity piece that we had worked together on.
That was a great piece.
It was fun. I enjoyed that. It was actually, it was Rita Barrios, George Papas, Chris Hayden, and myself. So all four of us representing, three institutions. So it was LTU, University of Detroit Mercy, and Walsh, all collaborated together. I felt like, I agree with you. I felt like that went really well. Everybody, pulled their oar, so as to speak, really well. And it came off to be a pretty good piece. So,
yeah. So personally, how do you use Walsh's Automation Alley membership to drive value, obviously to Walsh, because, they're the benefactor on this, and also value to you personally? So can you talk about both sides of that equation, the corporate relationship and the personal networking that goes on?
Sure. Yeah, I can talk. There's, for me, they're somewhat intertwined, but that's fine. I can kind of go through those. So personally, I'll say, as an academic, I'm not a traditional academic. I came up, I had a career, I was in industry. I'll say I've had a couple different versions of myself as I quote, update my career. Ended up, I think we had talked about it, kind of got tricked into teaching at one point and then kind of went full force in academia. My concern typically always is, frankly, is how do I stay in tune with industry, and what are my reality checks in order to make sure I am staying cognizant of what is happening, what are the gaps, and what do we need to focus on? So personally, as a chair, trying to lead a group of people teaching, in essence, STEM degrees, right? Obviously, Automation Alley has a lot to do with the different STEM trades and everything happening, right, within manufacturing. Right. So I leverage the contacts that I've made personally on, all right, what's happening? Am I right? We've leveraged yourself as well as others to sit on our advisory boards. And so we rely on you to come in and look at what we're doing. Frankly, at times, you personally have had hard questions for me to answer, but that's not, frankly, it's not always fun, but that's what we need. It's what we need.
Yeah.
It's what keeps us honest. So personally, one of my focal points is having that litmus test or reality check to make sure I'm still in tune with industry. Because once you're in academia, you kind of get into the institutional stuff. There's things that happen. So it's important to have that finger on the pulse. That's what I personally leverage that for. Now I'll shift gears a little bit. The benefit to the institution, when you're involved with, a technology report like Automation Alley is putting out, you guys have a lot of credibility in the market with that. A lot of people look to you within that sector to say, what's going on? Where are things going? For us to be associated with different, minds, leaders, discussions, that builds, obviously that helps everybody's brand, but for us personally, it helps the Walsh brand in general. And, I'll reach out a little bit further on that. So as far as benefactors, the institution, we've leveraged some of that. Frankly, some of that research led directly to our new degree, the Master of Science in Data Analytics, some of the World Economic Forum discussions, and frankly, just being at the table for conversations and hearing about gaps allows you to sit back and go, there is a gap that education can help fill. Let's orientate programs to fix that or to help alleviate that. So those are, hopefully that's succinct enough for you, but those are a couple of examples of benefits of that.
This is great. Yeah. And hopefully our academic members, others are trying to figure out, Stitch, how do they get involved? These are real helpful little nuggets, little breadcrumbs to follow of how they can get involved. Last question for you, Dave. So you've been involved since we started the Technology and Industry Report, and we're going on our 4th year is starting off. We're just finishing our series, went digital this year, as you know, for our Tech and Industry Report, been wildly well received. So there's academics out there in Michigan. We want to get them involved. We want as many as want to come to the table to be involved. What should they expect? How do they frame this? I mean, I know my role and my hat and the view that I have, the prism with which I see the world. You see the world in a different prism, maybe the way academics would see it. What can they expect if they came in and said, I want to be a part of this Tech and Industry Report?
Yeah, to be honest with you, my first time, I still remember walking in the room like, I don't really know what's going to happen.
You and me both.
Because you're kind of like, hey, how's this going to play out?
Yeah.
And, in academia, for research ideas and processes can vary a little bit. I'll say it is a little bit different, but I think the key thing that academics need to understand is that, in particular, what I liked about the first time and in subsequent times that we've been involved is that you and your group, lay out, here is the vision and the strategy of what are we looking to accomplish with this particular report? What are the topics that we're going to go after, right? So those get laid out, and that's very much, so you get vision, strategies, and tactics. So you're like, okay, as a larger report, here is the goal and where we're trying to travel to. And then with the subtopics, you actually understand, okay, I'm going to jump onto a subtopic team. And then really you need to sit back and decide, okay, as a subtopic player, do I want to, there is a lead on each subtopic, and then there's group members who contribute. So if somebody's like, I really don't want to lead, because there's a little bit more work involved in that. And I understand that. I've done both. I've sat in as a member and then I've led. So, leadership, you have to kind of coordinate it and work and collaborate with everybody from different institutions, which frankly is not, in my opinion, is not an issue, especially if you have a well-developed plan. You guys have a well-developed plan. So, and then we basically kind of break up and say, who's interested in what? You guys are very amicable about, say spreading the wealth of topics. I know so first year, both Chris Hayden and I from Walsh were on the same topic. This last year, we broke up.
Yeah.
We went into different topic areas, and that was a little bit by design. Chris and I are different subject matter experts. I mean, he knows IT well, but he's more in that data science, data analytics space. I'm more of that cyber space. So it really kind of fit well. But I think overall, I think academics need to kind of trust, okay, they have a plan, they have a schedule. They work that really well. There's a lot of communication. And then if you come into it realizing, hey, guess what? If I follow the timeline, I get the deliverables in, everything will go smoothly. And frankly, each year that we've participated, I felt like on the topics that I've been involved in, things have went really smoothly, both interacting with you and your staff.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, thanks for your time today. This was awesome. I hope our academics that are thinking about how to get involved, that this becomes a useful roadmap for them to sort of say, hey, Tom, I want to do that. I heard Dave talk about this. That would be awesome. So a little bit of housekeeping at the end here, and we're all set, but I appreciate it. So if you're in academia and you want to get involved with Automation Alley, as you just heard, we have several avenues for you to share your leadership, your expertise, be part of Michigan's Industry 4.0 transformation. It's coming whether we want it or not. And we rely on academics because business is in it, business moves fast, but academics see over the hill and around the bend. And both have to come together, right? And Dave, you've been great at that. Thanks for everything. And thanks for being a member of Automation Alley.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, see you later.
Take care.